This episode is brought to you by Polestar. Time is luxury, which is why Polestar spent so much time designing the Polestar 3, their luxury electric performance SUV. It's designed to go further with up to 315 miles of range and immerse you in a unique listening experience powered by 25 speakers. Your favorite daily news podcast has never sounded better. All to make the time you spend behind the wheel of Polestar 3 the best time of your day. Book your test drive at polestar.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table Podcast, a virtual table where we discuss all things leadership, growth, and personal empowerment. My name is Fikayo, and thank you so much for having me in your ears. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about a topic that truly hits home for me, and it is self-leadership. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I'm really excited to be able to get into in this episode. I think it's just something that we hear about often, but I'm not sure if we really know how to get into. So we're going to talk about that today. And I think this topic is important, especially for young adulting, especially as I'm specifically trying to figure out like how to get into the leadership space. And I realized that it actually has to start with myself. And today we're going to go into that. I'll share stories, I'll share tips, and I'll share actionable steps that you can take in your own life in case this is something that you're looking to do as well. Before we start though, how are you feeling? How are you? Like, how's it been? How's life going? For me, I've kind of been dealing with a little stress, but it's nothing we can't get through. It is currently 4:49 a.m. Friday, September 20th, 2024. And I'm here doing this episode because, well, I just couldn't sleep knowing that I had a podcast to record and it wasn't done. So here we are. And again, there's nowhere else I'd rather be. So aside from just like, kind of sleep deprived and stressed, I'm fine. I'm fine. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're sleeping. I hope you're not stressed. If so, I hope that you're managing your stress well. I hope you feel like, I don't know. I just hope that you feel like you're making progress in life, that you're moving forward. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you know everything's going to be okay. I hope you know that you can do it. And I hope you know that you're not alone. Okay, let's get into the episode. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I just realized not long ago that in order to inspire others and like create a real impact, I had to get clear on leading myself first with my routines, my mindset, my habits. And I think at that point, none of this was consistent, but I knew that I wanted to be a leader. And I realized that I was skipping the very first step, which was leading myself. And once I had started taking that first initiative, or that first step to really begin to lead myself, everything changed. So I'm really excited today to dive into this topic with you because I feel like from that moment was when I was actually able to graduate. I was able to begin to pursue my MBA. This podcast was born. I was able to lose weight. I was able to build discipline. I was able to stay consistent. And I know these are things that young adults struggle with, and it's something that I worked really, really hard to implement. So yeah, we'll go into that with you. So what exactly is self-leadership? Well, simply put, self-leadership is the ability to influence yourself, to take responsibility of your own actions, behaviors, and development. Self-leadership is about setting your own course, staying accountable, making decisions that align with your values and your goals. And it is a foundation for leading others because, well, let's face it, if you can't lead yourself, how do you expect to lead anyone else? Self-leadership is not about control. It's not about self-awareness. It's not about taking action. It's literally about recognizing that the most effective leaders just don't get by well if they cannot manage themselves first. And if you want to lead a team or an organization or a community, it will start by having your own house in order. So let's talk about the different pillars in self-leadership. The first pillar that I'm going to speak about is self-awareness. And self-awareness is about knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, and your emotional triggers. This is literally the foundation of personal growth because you literally need to know yourself. You literally need to know yourself. And what does that look like? Like, I remember when I was dealing with procrastination really, really heavy. The first step literally was to accept that I was a procrastinator. And then from there, I was then able to say, okay, I don't want to be a procrastinator, but you understand, like, you have to know what you're dealing with and who you are, and you have to be honest. You need to take an honest look at yourself to then be able to know how, like, what even you want to start working on. And I found that being able to label my weaknesses, really, really helped me be able to combat them. And some people just like can't have that conversation. Sometimes it's really hard as a person to look at yourself and say, okay, this is where I struggle. This is where I need to get better at. But this self-awareness is very, very important, especially if you're going to be a leader. The next pillar I'd like to talk about is self-discipline. Self-discipline is all about consistency. Are you able to make a promise to yourself, and are you able to keep it? Are you able to stick to your commitments? Are you able to work towards long-term goals? And even when the motivation fades, are you able to keep going? This has been like an up and down battle for me personally. Because, well, it's just not easy to stay consistent. Whoever tells you staying consistent is easy is whatever. But like, this is something that I think you will deal with every day, and it's something that you will continually work on. The third pillar I'd like to talk about is self-motivation, and this is the ability to push yourself forward, even without external rewards. You have to be your biggest cheerleader when no one is around. Can you do that for yourself? Can you encourage yourself? Can you get rid of those negative thoughts? Can you motivate and uplift yourself? This is very, very, very important as specifically a young leader, because you need to be able to get into your head. You need to be able to know what you're thinking. And if they're bad thoughts, you need to be able to reframe, because bad thoughts are limiting, and they will create like a glass ceiling over you. Your words, your thoughts are that powerful. So watch that and make sure that you are creating an atmosphere that is conducive of like good thoughts. And the last pillar I'd like to talk about is goal setting. Having a clear vision and direction of where you want to go is very important. And I found that people and leaders who want to go far kind of have some direction of where they want to go, although it may not specifically end there, or it may even go further than like what they initially thought. Like, they still have some kind of vision, they still have some type of goal, they still have some type of direction, and sometimes that's all you need. You just need to be able to like throw a stone and say, okay, I'm going to go find that stone. Wherever the journey leads me from here to that stone is whatever, but like still being able to do that, I think is very, very important. Each of these elements are crucial, and they will feed into each other. The more self-aware you are, the better that you can motivate yourself. The more motivated you are, the better you can exercise discipline. When you're disciplined, you can achieve your goals, which reinforces the motivation. You see, it's just a loop. So understanding these pillars and implementing them into your life will be key for you, especially as a young leader, to understand and to integrate into your life. Now, let's be real. Self-leadership is not always easy. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell you that. We all face challenges like procrastination, self-doubt, inconsistency. I've been there too. I've had days where my to-do my to-do list has felt overwhelming, and I literally just couldn't get myself to get started. But here's the thing, self-leadership is about managing those moments, not avoiding them. One strategy that has worked for me is breaking down my goals into small, manageable tasks. So instead of saying like, I'm going to start this really big project, maybe I'll start with saying, today I'm going to start this smaller part of the project. Maybe I'll just do research. Maybe I'll just push one small thing forward. That way, like it's not as overwhelming, and it's not that I didn't do it, but maybe I did it in like a bit or a piece that felt like that was possible for me at that moment, you know? Yeah. So like, how do we actually practice self-leadership? Well, here are a few practical steps. The first one I would say is daily reflection. Take about 5 to 10 minutes every day to record your actions, your choices, your emotions. And ask yourself, did I align with my values today? I journal every morning. And usually in that journaling, I will set my intentions for the day and the things that I would like to get done. This is just a really great way in saying, okay, like this is the goals for today. This is what I would like to do today, and how will I achieve them? And then the next day, usually I'll look back on what I wanted to do the day before and like, did I do them? If not, I'll do them that day. Also, I keep a very, very meticulous planner. I actually have 2 planners right now, one for school in my life generally, and then the others for work by itself. And I've really fallen into that dopamine loop of checking things off of my to-do list. It's probably my favorite thing to do now. Just because I like to like check things off my to-do list makes me actually want to do it. So you understand, like the small minute task of just checking things off my to-do list, or like even just drawing that check mark, makes me feel good. So that's why I go back and I actually do what I need to do, so that I can do that. And it's all about things like that. It's all about like creating these loops for yourself. It's all about reflection. It's all about, well, actually the next thing I was going to say is holding yourself accountable. And it literally is that. Find a way to track your progress. Use a planner, use a journal, use a digital tool. These things are instrumental in leadership. These things are instrumental in your time management. These things are instrumental in building that consistency and staying motivated. And it goes right into my next thing, but these things help you be able to set clear goals as well. And by being able to set clear short-term and long-term goals, you can achieve a much bigger vision. And even if the short-term goals are just like hour-by-hour goals, or minute-by-minute goals, or day-by-day goals, or weekly goals, or monthly goals, yearly goals. And lastly, I will say build habits. Self-discipline is very, 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 very important when it comes to habits. And start small. I've been mentioning it, but start small. Maybe it's waking up 15 minutes earlier, or maybe it's doing 10 minutes of exercise daily. But the cool thing about habits is that they can grow as well. So you don't have to like jump off the cliff, but you can say, okay, I'm going to take a step today, and I'm going to take a step tomorrow. And I just think that's so cool. Like, I'm so fascinated by that concept of 1% better each day. Because by the end of a year, it's 365, like you've grown 365%. If you just look at the math, obviously it doesn't like practically work out like that. But I still like that idea of like, if I do good today, if I do my 1% today, if I play my part today, it all contributes to the bigger picture. And I think that's what leadership is. And that's what it is to be a leader. I think to be a leader is to realize that it is the small things that build into bigger things. And it's cultivating and stewarding the small to the point where it gets big, and to the point where it's able to be self-sufficient, and to the point where it's able to lead and grow itself. I do want to make sure that I say that leadership is also a journey. It's not a destination, and you'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but like I said, the key is to keep going, keep learning, and keep improving. Okay, so this is where it all connects. How does self-leadership translate into leading others? And well, When you lead yourself, you build trust and accountability. People will naturally follow someone who is accountable, self-disciplined, and self-aware. Think of it this way. If you're consistently improving yourself, showing discipline in your own life, staying motivated, your team will be inspired to do the same. You become a role model, not just by saying what you did, but like how you literally live. In today's world where leadership is more about influence than control, the best leaders are the ones who lead themselves first. So here's my challenge for you. This week, I want you to pick one area of your life where you would like to practice more self-leadership. Maybe it's creating better habits, setting clearer goals, holding yourself more accountable. Whatever it is, all I ask is that you start small and you be consistent. And I'd love to hear how it's going. So please share your journey with me on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever your social platforms are. But I really would like to see, and I would really love to egg you on as well. But I think that's it for today's episode on personal leadership. Please remember that the journey to leading others starts with leading yourself. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, leave a rating. It really, really helps this podcast. We've got more exciting content coming your way. I'm really excited to be exploring leadership with you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate being in your ears. And as always, I will see you next time. Laugh really loud, you guys, and pray all the time. Bye.